Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 002 of the What We Watched podcast. I am Matt Wozbinski. Sadly, my buddies JC and Chris cannot join us today. They are off doing real life stuff. Chris is getting married. JC should be getting married soon. That is not a spoiler. That is just something I hope that eventually someone will marry that guy. But we have a lot to talk about today. Today we are going to be mostly focusing on last night and the Oscars, and it was insane. It was a great show. Everyone overall did pretty well. The performances were great. I agreed with a lot of the awards, but we're going to break down what went well, what I disagreed with, and talk about especially the ending and the whole controversy of the envelope gate. So we will dive right into that. First off, what did the Oscars get right? I think that the majority of the awards actually turned out really, really well. I agreed with Moonlight winning Best Picture. I agreed with most of the actors, both and actresses supporting and in a leading role. One thing I really enjoyed about this Oscars was it kind of spread the wealth. So La La Land, which was coming in as the favorite to kind of sweep and win all these different things, ended up with the most. They ended up with 6 awards, so they didn't sweep, but they ended up with the most, which is good because they were one of the best films of the year. But they failed to get things like Best Picture and Best Actress was one of the things that they won. But they didn't win either Best Actor, Best Supporting, or Best Supporting Actress. So I really liked how a lot of movies across the board got a lot of recognition. Normally you don't see that. You see one movie which kind of dominates a lot of the categories, and then that's how you get these big, massive numbers of winning several Academy Awards. While La La Land was the favorite because it won the most, it didn't win the ultimate prize, and it was able to still be a good movie, but a lot of other movies got recognition. Even a movie that I enjoyed that most people did not, which in Suicide Squad got a little bit of a shout out. I thought it was super funny. I saw my friend Sam Klein commented that the DC universe got an Oscar before the Marvel universe, which is hilarious because most people will admit that Marvel is on top of their game when it comes to comic book movies at this point in time. So the fact that they can now say the Oscar-winning Suicide Squad, that's just kind of a funny thing. But we see that often. When Leonardo DiCaprio, before he ever won one, he was kind of that running joke where you would have things where like 3-6 Mafia winning an Oscar before before Leonardo DiCaprio, where these they were really good in one in particular category when they would win over someone who obviously deserves it, but maybe it's just a stacked category. So I really enjoyed how the Oscars across the board supported several movies. It wasn't one movie just dominating the entire night, but it was several movies that said specifically, maybe it's for screenwriting, maybe it's for directing, but you did really well in this, and it kind of spread the wealth out. So I really enjoyed that. So best pick, actor, actress. Now let's go to some of the things that okay. So I'm also doing this on Facebook Live. If you don't follow me on Facebook, you need to become my friend. I would love to be your friend, but I'm also doing this on Facebook Live. And one of my friends, Justin McBurney, is getting mad at me, and so is Taylor Johnson. Also, Taylor Johnson needs to be on the show, and so is Justin McBurney. So if you guys ever want to come on the show, you are more than welcome, and we will argue. But they're saying that it doesn't count because it's for makeup, and but I would highly disagree with that. I would say that I don't believe that they should be nominated for Best Film or Best Directing, but you can be good at one in particular category, such as makeup, where they did fantastic. Things like Killer Croc. And you can even say, when it comes to things like Harley Quinn, that was a cultural phenomenon when it comes to the Harley Quinn thing. Harley Quinn was the Halloween costume of choice for a large majority of females this Halloween. And the reason was because it created such an iconic look. And while a lot of people really love the original Harley look, it wouldn't really fit with what they were going for. So I do believe that you can be an Oscar-winning picture, and it's just sort of like how you have an asterisk, and then in really fine print, they'll say for makeup, but they can say the Academy Award-winning production. Taylor Johnson is also saying something about Brie Larson didn't clap for Casey Affleck, but I do. This is something actually that John Acuff pointed out to me that I was completely unaware of. That Casey Affleck recently was in some legal trouble with potential sexual assault of some kind, and so that was actually one of the reasons why he did a fantastic job apparently in Manchester by the Sea. Apparently, it's incredibly depressing. Sadly, the two movies I did not get to see fully were Moonlight and Manchester by the Sea. Those were the two where we just missed them. And so, but apparently it was a great film, but he did not have a lot of support in general from the actors because of that controversy and that thing that I honestly haven't looked too much into it and I haven't heard much about it, but that was one of the things online that was kind of building up. And yeah, so Taylor is saying that yes, it was because of the sexual harassment. And so I don't really know much about that, but that was one of the things where even in the speeches, it seemed like they were kind of trying to play him off a little bit and not make a big deal of him winning. That yes, he deserved to win because of his amazing accomplishment, but because of that, it was a little bit of we don't want to give you as much stage time as maybe Viola Davis got, or someone along those lines, where it's something where we're going to be showing this for forever, and we want this big acceptance speech. Thank you. Are you okay? So I have a friend, Taylor Johnson. He's a stand-up comedian, and he is fantastic. This is a little bit of a rabbit trail, but it is what it is. And so, one, if you are looking for a good entertainer of any kind for any event, look up Taylor Johnson, and he is fantastic. But he has got this habit of signing off things peace and love, and I'm assuming that's because he has been watching too much OJ. And OJ, another thing, OJ Made in America won Best Documentary, which that was another thing that Chris, another one of our contributors on What We Watched, had some arguments with. The fact that it won even though it was several hours long. And the way that they're able to do that is, I guess, the rule is if you at least show it in one film festival, which apparently they did. It was a 6, 7, 8 hour film that they showed at one film festival, so it counts as a documentary, even though it was produced by ESPN and was cut up into several parts and shown over several nights. So that one was kind of interesting because it feels a little bit more like a mini series, but because it was shown at least once in one big setting where you had to sit and watch the whole thing, it was eligible to be a best documentary. And I hear that that one is fantastic, and that's another one that I really do need to check out. Some of the things that I did not agree with when it comes to the Oscars is Moana. I thought that that was a really good film. I really did enjoy Zootopia. Zootopia was great. I thought that it tackled a lot of adult themes when it comes to prejudice, racism, stereotypes, without being too preachy, without being too forceful. But at the same time, Moana, I think 10 years from now is going to be still around, and it's going to be in that category of the Frozens, the Aladdins, the Beauty and the Beast, where it's not just going to kind of fade into the distance. While Zootopia, I do feel like people will pull it out every so often, but it's not going to be an all-time classic. And I really did enjoy that. I'm fine with them winning, Zootopia winning for animation, but I personally would have picked Moana. And also Kubo and the Two Strings, another one that I wasn't able to catch. But that seemed to be the dark horse of the night, where a lot of people said that you had to check it out, that you needed to watch it. And even though it was stop motion, which I think a lot of times turns a lot of people off, I do believe that a lot of people were really pulling for Kubo and thought that that one deserved to get some recognition. But Zootopia was a great film, and original song was probably my biggest peeve with the Oscars last night. How Far I'll Go is something that I will be singing for the rest of my life. It's the same that I will be singing Magic Carpet Ride and Whole New World and Part of Your World and all of these great Disney classics. I feel like that's going to be up there. And for me, City of Stars wasn't even the best out of the two songs. I thought that City of Stars was sort of the theme song for La La Land, so I understand why it gets a little bit more. But Audition was, in my opinion, much better. I thought that it was more of the deciding factor, the heart, the emotional punch of La La Land, while City of Stars was the catchy one that you're still humming when you leave the movie theater, but doesn't necessarily mean it's the better song. JC's mad at me because he could have podcasted with me today. I'm sorry, man. I decided to do this later. I'm going to have to edit this part out now, JC. Sorry. You can come on next time, or just yell at me from Facebook Live. That's totally fine. He's texting me now. JC's really mad at me now, but that's okay. Anywho, so those are some of the things that I really did enjoy about the Oscars and some things that I thought went really well. Now, it's true. Justin McBurney also is commenting about how City of Stars is about Hollywood and how Hollywood loves itself. That was another really interesting thing with Moonlight winning is La La Land, in most people's view, was a very easy layup as far as Oscar goes. As far as Academy Awards, if you make a movie about movies, you're pretty much going to win a lot of things if it's also a quality movie. And so a lot of people thought that Moonlight winning was a very good step in the direction of let's base films judged off of the film itself and not what is pandering most to what the voters want and what Hollywood as a whole would like to do. And so I also thought that was a really big deal for Moonlight winning.